Why is ChatGPT recommending your competitors instead of you? Something that I accidentally stumbled on many years ago is when you get mentioned in best listicle posts, you show up higher in Google. But in this case, when you get listed in best listicle posts, ChatGPT is influenced and sometimes takes it as gospel and ranks you first and sends you the traffic. Today I'm sharing an Ahrefs study by one of my favorite authors, Glen Allsopp, where they tracked 26,000 sources coming from 750 of the best searches to find out, and discovered that 44% of all citations coming from one type of content, which is the best listicle, top listicle type posts. And here's the kicker. ChatGPT is sending 8 times more traffic to your site than Perplexity. So that means that if you're not creating this type of content in 2025 and 2026, you're just missing out on what is, at the moment, really simple opportunity to be cited. And from what I've accidentally discovered from doing this over 15 years, the pattern is actually quite simple. Right now I'm going to share what the data shows. So here is the article, which I will link to in my blog. Do self-promotional best lists boost ChatGPT visibility? The answer is simple. Yes, it does. Right, I'll get straight to the point. Now, I don't usually post content like this, but this is close to my heart because a long time ago, I discovered by accident a way to easily get traffic, rank for desirable key terms, push competitors down the page, acquire high quality backlinks, and build real eyeballs to my client accounts, my websites, my lead gen sites and whatnot. And they were to create top 10, top 20, top 50 listicle style posts, which I still create to this day. Now, I started building them over 10 years ago. Back then, I accidentally stumbled on this space when I was collaborating with businesses in my niche. It might have been tradies, it might have been accountants, bookkeepers, wedding suppliers. So for a wedding venue website, it's quite natural to build like a recommended list of wedding photographers or recommended suppliers. What I discovered was that my posts skyrocketed to the top of Google very quickly. This was some time back. And because there was so much high quality content on that page, and the content was actually valuable to the reader because they would scroll, they would find the listicle, they would call the wedding photographer or wedding videographer or whatever it was, and the time on page for those listicle posts was huge. We went as far as ranking for best private schools, best TAFEs, best universities, best MBAs. Now, I still have thousands of those posts marinating and somewhere in the ether of Google. And what's transitioned from simply getting the traffic and getting the inquiries and pushing the traffic and getting the links and a whole bunch of other benefits that come with showing up at the top of Google, I found that when AI came along, a lot of those listicles lost a lot of traffic because AI doesn't want to recommend other sites that recommend other sites. They want to go straight to the source. So we found that the traffic was cut heavily, but AI was citing us as gospel. And exactly what this article basically confirms. These guys searched 60,000 websites. Across 60,000 websites, they basically tracked the citations of where the link was coming from. So the methodology is simple. It's get mentioned on best CRM software for enterprise, which is basically just a bottom of funnel key terms. This is mid of funnel. They're looking for a list, but getting listed in these or making them yourself is currently working and has been working since AI began to actively crawl the internet and get you the response, because that's where we're at with AI right now. Is Perplexity, ChatGPT will simply dip into the Bing index and the Google index, and so whatever's at the top of Google, it's literally just going to grab it. But also, even if it's not at the top of Google, even if it's a low authority site with barely any traffic and it simply has a top 20 list, I'm seeing it being cited, right? So no doubt everyone's in the SEO world that's remained in the SEO world will be abusing this. They already are, and so am I. Why wouldn't I, if I have 800 of my sites? Let's say there is a site in the electrical space, Split Systems, Melbourne or something like that. Of course I'm going to list my electricians in that listicle post. Of course I'm going to list my builders, my building inspectors, my pest controllers. All of my clients get those top listings because that's real estate that I own. It's like owning the billboard and placing your clients there. Best entry-level DSLR. So across the source links, Best X represented 43% of all page types. No doubt this is going to change. I just don't see them being able to. The way Google and SEO works is they would pay attention to who has high quality backlinks, who has standard SEO metrics, and the only sites that get to the top are ones that have great on-page SEO, off-page SEO, and a combination of things, and that's the cost of entry to market. What I'm seeing this AI do is basically just, there's a website that's less than 6 months old with no backlinks, with no authority. It's like, yeah, let's just trust that. Bonus points if that website is an exact match domain, which is what mine are. It's pest-controller Melbourne or something like that, right? So this is really cool. What I found myself is that freshness matters, and that's what I think is mentioned here. Fresh content matters. 79% of the cited best links were published in this year. 26% were updated in the last few months. This is exactly what we do. We update our listicle posts quite regularly because a lot of the time I am engaging with the businesses that we're listing. Right, we can exchange backlinks as well for higher listings. A lot of directories are attempting to just make money by selling the listings, but those listings are not worth much when the articles are being thrown around in Google. You have the likes of Easy Weddings, which is obviously a monster of a directory site, and that's in their business setup. But the way I've gone about it is all of my directories were free to be listed. Send us a banner image, send us a video and things like that. We will list you for free. And in exchange for some collaboration, hint, hint, backlink, we will list you up higher. It's a win-win for all. My wedding clients receive wedding links from wedding-related sites in the same city or country. These are priceless links because normally you wouldn't be able to get those links. Money can't buy them. So if we come back to a big finding in this study is not all sources were great. 35% cited best lists came from low authority domains, some questionable quality. This is exactly what I'm experiencing. My startup website in whatever the space that I've picked up the domain has barely any content, probably filled with lorem as the developers are still constructing it. A lot of those sites I've actually given to my developers as testing, as learning. I'm teaching them how to build the sites. And in the background, I'm slapping up these best listicle posts, which are being cited. Now, I believe that's going to be fixed, no doubt. I'm not even saying that it's a bug. Hopefully it stays. It's been here for a while. We're being cited. It's great for my clients because I'm seeing the traffic come across. There's not much traffic, but we're now being found in areas which we were not showing up before. It's so good for the small business because you've got all of these AI monsters fighting for attention. In other words, fighting for ways to display the business. So it's not just ChatGPT. These best lists are also highly prominent across other AI platforms, even slightly more in Google AI overviews. What's going on with my lights behind me? ChatGPT is obviously a big referrer. It sends 8 to 9 times more traffic than the next AI platform being Perplexity, which is across 60,000 sites, which Ahrefs tracks. So I put together a bit of an infographic using Claude. what the study looked like. They assessed best X prompts, examined 26,000 sources, identify which page types get cited and what helps brands get recommended. The key findings were 43% of all citations were blog style best X lists, right? Of best lists were updated in 2025, the rest in the last 2 months. So in other words, having the same year or fresh content, which is really easy to do. You just refresh the content, change the publish date, add some new things to it to be a bit more current. I do things like I mention current events, possibly the weather, possibly something that is relevant to that particular article, just gives it that extra bit of flavor. 35% came from low authority domains. That's wild. 8 to 9% more traffic coming from ChatGPT than the next AI platform. Brands ranked higher on multiple third-party lists equals more AI recommendations. That means if your brand is showing up in those best lists, it has a higher chance of being cited and other pages being cited by AI. When ChatGPT recommends a brand, it often cites the brand's landing pages, software, agencies, or products more than the blog lists. So the Listicle sends the users directly to a sales page, which is brilliant for the little business. So it's not just GPT. What that means for you, if you're a SaaS or an agency publishing self-promotional best lists, can help visibility. So in other words, publish it on your site, publish it on third-party sites if you can. If you have an agency, ask the agency, do they have their private sites? I personally do, and it's something that I've been doing for a very long time, and it's actually how I started and how I accidentally fell into the agency space. I didn't want to, that's not the intention. I just wanted to rank my own websites. I really enjoy the ranking process. I really enjoy the process of getting the leads and running the Google ad and running the Facebook ad. I naturally, still to this day, pick up new domains that I build, and I use those domains for these particular reasons. Next best reason to have your own properties. Not only can you rank and rent them, not only can you hog more traffic on Google, push competitors down, you can sell links on them. I build my sites as complete sort of white hat sites. They are basically lead gen sites. They are dedicated directory sites. They are suburb sites. They are niche specific national directory sites. Tree removalist national. It might be just a suburb about all of the spaces. So these days I pick up domains and I gravitate towards where my current clients are, and I build these micro monopolies around them, right? But now, even a bigger reason is AI is literally just, I trust this source because it's listing 20 of them and sends the juice to my campaigns. Keep the content updated. Freshness strongly correlates with being cited. Aim to rank high on third-party comparison lists. If you own the site, you can control how to rank high. Build strong, specific landing pages for your services features. So this is where building dedicated bottom of funnel pages, dedicated high intent commercial pages, bookkeeping for builders, accounting for builders, less traffic to no traffic on SEMrush or Ahrefs, still build it. If you offer accounting services for builders, build that page. So quality still matters. Avoid thin, spammy best lists. So a lot of mine are, depends what you mean by spammy. A lot of mine are probably 5,000 to 3,000 to 5,000 words. Very simple layout. H1, best plumbers, Melbourne, hypothetically. H2 is client number 1, featured image, intro text, which is unique. The way we do the listicle text is I send a ChatGPT robot using FireDev crawl to their site, and we have a custom GPT that will basically crawl the site and make some really good about us text. It's funny enough, the best way that I make about us text these days for clients, we then use writers to rewrite it. But for these directory listicles, it's really easy. It creates good listicle post. We put in any offers or discounts, then we put the contact numbers. Now, a lot of the time when I'm listing competitors, I will not link to them. I will remove the URL. They're still being mentioned. Their brand is still there. But hey, this is my site. It's fully my ownership. I can do whatever I want with it. Same goes with paying Yellow Pages more. If you pay Yellow Pages or you pay Easy Weddings, guess what? They'll list you higher. It's their business. So practical action checklist. Create 1-2 genuine, helpful, best X list. Now, if you are a wedding photographer, it would benefit you to do like best wedding venues, Melbourne or Sydney. Because not only can you collaborate with those wedding venues and befriend them and maybe they can recommend you, but two, someone looking for a wedding venue might also be looking for a wedding photographer. So if your post helps them find a wedding venue, they will trust your brand a little bit more because you're the wedding photographer that mentioned that and so forth. Now, from an SEO perspective, because idiots like me have been doing this for so long, there might be a really high cost of entry to market, like there might be with financial advisors or best credit cards, right? You imagine best credit cards is going to be very competitive. It's still worth doing this because you might just get picked up by AI. I'd love to say that having more backlinks helps. I believe it does, but I'm seeing posts without any backlinks with just an exact match domain. You submit the sitemap to Bing Webmaster Tools. ChatGPT is heavily Bing, right? So make sure you submit your websites to Bing Webmaster Tools. Update your list regularly. Inclusion in respected third-party lists. Hope that helps. Let me know if you have any questions.